As Spark stood with his hands raised toward the spectators and shouted, "I became the champion of these battles." Suddenly Garner's son rose from his place and loudly shouted, "Spark, I am your opponent. Your battle is not yet over and you are not the true champion." Master John, who was faced with this scene, rounded his eyes with worry. He did not expect this to happen and wanted to take Garner's hand and seat him in his place, but saw that all the spectators were staring at their stand, waiting to see what would happen next. Master John tried to dissuade his son from fighting, but Garner was determined about his action. He said, "I have to prove that I'm better than Spark and the others." Master John knew he could not force his son to do what he did not want, so he reluctantly and worriedly allowed him to fight. The crowd was shocked when they saw Master John's son announce that he wanted to fight the champion of the competitions, Spark. They did not expect him to enter the battlefield, as he was not supposed to participate in this battle. Those close to Master John were worried about Garner. They knew Spark was a powerful and dangerous warrior, but Garner's courage had excited them. Spark stood facing Garner's stand, frowned, and said with a mocking tone, "Are you sure you want to fight me? I'm the champion." "Did you get permission from your father?" The crowd burst out laughing at this remark, but Garner, who was very angry, said, "The real champion is determined at the end of the battle, but that moment may be too late for you and you may never realize it." Spark was greatly provoked by Garner's words and hastily accepted the battle. He told Garner, "So why are you standing there? Come down and show me who the real champion is." Spark was determined to defeat Garner and retain his championship title, even though he knew Garner was a skilled warrior. Garner took his own weapons, a sword and shield, and headed for the battlefield, where he stood facing Spark. They were ready for battle. Garner was an eager young warrior who had trained for years at his father's academy. Spark was also an experienced warrior who had been present at battles and war zones for years. The battle began and the two warriors quickly attacked each other, striking with fists, kicks, and their weapons. Garner landed fast, precise blows while Spark struggled to dodge them. But Garner was very strong and his blows tired Spark. After a while, Spark began to slow down. He was bleeding a little and could feel Garner was close to defeating him. Spark, exhausted and under great pressure, did not expect his opponent to be so powerful and skilled. He wanted to surrender, but Garner did not allow him to and knocked him unconscious to the ground with a sudden, forceful sword blow. People were shocked and worried by Spark's death at the hands of Garner, and a deadly silence suddenly prevailed there. Spark was a beloved champion and everyone loved him. Garner was also a skilled, ambitious warrior, but was now seen as a killer. People could not believe he had so easily killed Spark. Master John angrily rushed to Spark's lifeless body, hoping he could do something to save him. He knelt by Spark and laid his head on his chest. He could feel Spark's heartbeat getting slower and slower. He was hopeless and angry, blaming his son for this incident. He looked up furiously at Garner. He knew Garner could have prevented Spark's death, but did not. Master John angrily shouted, "Why did you do this? Are you satisfied now?" But Garner arrogantly and without regret told his father, "What happened, father? Why are you upset? You should be happy that I was the victor of this battle, and the end of a battle is not always pleasant." Master John angrily said, "This was no battle. This was murder." Garner said, "But I was only trying to demonstrate the real battle, and this is what battle means." Master John said, "Victory does not mean achieving it at any cost. Victory means treating your opponent with respect and not seeing yourself above him, even when you have defeated him. You did none of that. You just selfishly murdered someone." Master John could no longer look at Garner. He got up from beside Spark and left the battlefield. He never looked at Garner again. With his back to Garner, Master John said, "I have nothing more to say to you. Leave this place and never return." Garner and the crowd present there were shocked to hear this and stunned once more. Garner was very angry that his pride had been broken in public, and he shouted loudly, "The day will come when I return and become the greatest warrior in the world, and you will need me." Garner hurriedly left the battlefield, gathered his belongings, and left Iran. He did not know where he was going or what he would do, but knew he had to get away from there as quickly as possible. He could not face his father, hated Master John, and everyone and everything. He wandered the roads to an unknown destination, feeling the world had collapsed on him. He had lost everything, his home, his family, his honor. He was alone and did not know what to do.
Master John, blaming himself for Garner's upbringing, had become despondent and hopeless. He felt ashamed of his wife who had entrusted their only son to him in her last moments. He was filled with a sense of shame and helplessness. He knew he could have been a better father to Garner and now had to live with the consequences. He knew Garner had become a ruthless, violent man. He felt guilty and regretful and did not know how to make amends. He went home and sat in his son's room. He looked at his son's belongings and remembered all their good memories. He remembered the first time Garner learned to walk, the first time he said Papa, the first time he declared his love for him. His heart ached for all those moments.
He put his head in his hands and started crying. He knew he would never see his son again or even know of his condition. After banishing his son Garner, Master John sank into grief and sorrow. He could not believe his son, once a talented young warrior, had become a selfish murderer. Master John felt defeated and did not know how to go on living without his son. Master John lived in isolation for a while, avoiding people and his students. He did not want to interact with anyone or talk about what had happened. However, he could not hide from the world forever. After some time, he was eventually forced to come out of isolation and deal with the reality of life. Mr. and Mrs. Crocker own a bakery and large inn at the entrance to the village of Iran. They are around 50 years old and never had children. They are the first to welcome travelers. Their bakery is a popular spot for visitors and is known for its delicious pastries and their kind nature. Mrs. Crocker is a skilled cook who loves baking. She uses her creativity to make different types of pastries, from traditional cakes and cookies to more creative desserts. Her baked goods are always fresh and delicious, made with love. Mr. Crocker is a kind and caring man. He prides himself on knowing everything about the village of Iran and is always happy to help guests find their way. He is also a great storyteller and likes to tell stories of life in the village to visitors. One morning, Mrs. Crocker was cleaning the front of her shop when she suddenly noticed a tired, thin teenage boy of about 10 or 11 years old approaching the village of Iran with an old, weary horse. From his torn, dirty clothes she understood he had spent a long time on the road and was likely tired and hungry. Mrs. Crocker went to the shop and called out loudly to her husband, "Dear, dear." Mr. Crocker, who was singing and wiping the shop's tables, heard his wife's voice and said, "Yes, yes. What happened, Mrs. Crocker? Come here for a minute, look at this." Mr. Crocker, who was busy wiping the tables and did not want to leave his work half done, threw his rag on the tables and hurried toward his wife, saying to her, "What happened? Can't you see I'm busy, Mrs. Crocker? Look over there. What's a little boy doing here at this time of year?" Mr. Crocker, who had just come out of the shop and the sunlight was bothering his eyes, squinted and looked into the distance. He saw a tired teenager heading towards the village. He rubbed his eyes to see more clearly and saw he was not mistaken. Surprised, he quietly said to himself, "Who is this here and what is he doing?" Mrs. Crocker, hearing his voice, said, "We'd better go ask him ourselves." "I agree, let us go." The road dust had covered the boy's shaggy hair and the sun bothered his blue eyes. He had not eaten for a long time and his stomach was growling. The boy had made it to the village with great difficulty, and the first people he met were Mr. and Mrs. Crocker looking at him in astonishment. Mr. Crocker welcomed him kindly, but suddenly the boy fainted and fell off his horse to the ground. Seeing this scene, Mr. and Mrs. Crocker panicked and clumsily carried the boy into the shop and laid him on one of the tables. Mrs. Crocker worriedly said, "What has happened to him?" Mr. Crocker said, "Dear, hurry, give him some water. He must have been in the sun for a long time and got overheated." Mrs. Crocker brought some water and splashed it on the boy's face and gave him some water to drink. The boy gradually regained consciousness and Mr. and Mrs. Crocker breathed a sigh of relief that he was all right. Mr. Crocker, who had many questions, could not wait and asked him, "My boy, what is your name, where are you from, and why did you come here?" The boy did not say anything and just kept silent, staring at them. The question was asked several times and finally the boy uttered just one thing. He said, "Where can I find Master John?" Mrs. Crocker said to her husband, "Aha! He has come here for Master John. He must have come a long way." Mr. Crocker said, all right, now that you're not saying anything, let me take you there." The boy said, No, please just tell me which way to go and I'll find the way myself." Mr. Crocker showed the boy the way, and with his guidance, the boy was able to find the path towards Master John's academy.